There were altogether 9 layers of the body refining tier. The first to third layers were often referred to as the early stages of body refining tier, the fourth to sixth layers as the middle stages, and the seventh to ninth layers as the late stages. The disparity in strength between martial artists from these 3 stages was immense. The higher the layer, the greater the gap in strength. A martial artist at the ninth layer held an overwhelming advantage over one at the eighth layer. However, the gap between the first and second layers was less severe. Ling Han, though he was only 2 layers behind Zhang Yuan, faced a significant disparity of 1 stage between them. But Ling Muyun stood at the 7th layer of body refining tier, the late stage, 2 stages above Ling Han. This gap was unbreachable. Even if Ling Han had once been a mighty heaven tier warrior, his current base was too weak to bridge this enormous difference in power. What should he do? Ling Han's expression grew serious. He took the opportunity when his opponent's palm was coming toward him, and with a swift motion, he raised his fist to strike. Ling Muyun sneered disdainfully. He did not know how Ling Han had managed to reach this place, but everyone in the Ling clan knew him as a worthless piece of trash. What threat could he pose? With a snort, Ling Muyun gathered his origin power, his chest muscles hardening to the density of iron. What harm could Ling Han's strike do to him? The priority now was to suppress Ling Han and ensure he didn't speak. As expected, Ling Han's smile curled at the corners of his mouth. The other's reaction was precisely what he had anticipated. "You're about to suffer now!" Pang! The punch landed solidly as Ling Muyun, too arrogant to dodge, bore the full impact. Ling Muyun's smirk remained, but he reached out, placing his hand on Ling Han's shoulder. "Young brother Han, I'll send you back," he began, but suddenly he spat out a mouthful of blood. His body trembled, as though his internal organs were about to rupture. He staggered, sitting down on the ground, his face contorted in agony. Ling Han stepped back, retreating 7 paces before his back met the wall. His movements were deliberate, controlled. What had happened? Ling Han had used a secret technique with his punch, known as hill-separating shock. This technique allowed the force to penetrate an opponent's defenses and explode inside their body. Although Ling Muyun had fortified himself with origin power, Ling Han's strike had bypassed his defenses, causing the internal damage to surge. Were Ling Muyun not at the 7th layer of body refining tier, the punch might have severely injured him or even been fatal. But even so, the rebound from the origin power was too much for Ling Han to handle. The shockwave forced him to stagger backward. His right arm was dislocated from the impact. Ka! Without flinching, Ling Han twisted his right arm back into place with his left hand. Only then did Ling Zhongquan and his companions react. Their anger flared. How dare Ling Han injure Ling Muyun? But more so, their shock was overwhelming. How had a piece of trash like him managed to land such a blow? The few maidservants stood frozen, their eyes wide with disbelief. Was this still the young Master Han they knew? How had he become so fierce? One punch had sent the famous genius Ling Muyun stumbling, blood pouring from his mouth. Little beast, how dare you be so ruthless? Ling Zhongquan shouted furiously. Muyun was just concerned for you and wanted to send you back to your room, yet you repay his kindness with violence. Ling Muyun regained some breath. His eyes filled with murderous intent as they turned toward Ling Han. How could his pride as a genius of the Ling clan accept being struck down by such a lowly individual? Ling Han paid them no mind. His gaze shifted to Liu Yutong. "Miss, you're sick," he said coolly. Ling Zhongquan flared up again, about to move, but upon hearing those words, he hesitated. Liu Yutong was no ordinary woman. A student of the prestigious Huyang Academy, founded by the imperial family of Rain Country, she came from an esteemed lineage that far outstripped any martial artist at the element gathering tier. Yet here was Ling Han, boldly declaring her illness. Was he seeking death? Ling Zhongquan's mind raced with malicious thoughts. Good. Now Ling Dongxing will be dragged down with him. Let someone else do the dirty work and claim the position of clan head. Wonderful, wonderful. Liu Yutong's gaze at Ling Han revealed an expression of disdain. Her beauty was unparalleled, and she was the princess of the Liu clan, one of the 8 great clans of the imperial city. Her status was second only to the imperial family, and she had countless suitors. Yet here was Ling Han, an insignificant martial artist daring to insult her. How dare you? Ling Zhongquan, ever the opportunist, seized the moment. Kneel down and apologize to Miss Liu. Ling Han merely smiled. In this world, aside from my parents, I kneel to no one. He then turned toward Liu Yutong and began walking toward her, stopping when he was 3 steps away. He knew this was the limit of her patience. Any closer, and she would definitely strike. Since you were 10, have you fainted for no reason every year? At first, it happened once a year, but it's become more frequent. By now, you faint every 10 days, at least. Ling Han spoke softly, only allowing Liu Yutong to hear. Her expression changed. This was an illness only a select few knew about, even in the Liu clan. How did Ling Han know of it? She looked him up and down. Her curiosity piqued. You know the reason? She asked, her voice tinged with disbelief. Naturally, Ling Han nodded with confidence. It's 3 yin vanishing veins, a curse from the gods. Those who have it rarely live past 20. On your 20th birthday, you will fall unconscious and never wake again. Liu Yutong fell silent. She had been to many renowned doctors, all of whom were unable to identify her illness, let alone treat it. She had even heard a diagnosis that she would fall unconscious more often, and one day, it would be permanent. Now, for the first time, she knew the name of her ailment, but what could be done? No doctor had a cure. She didn't believe Ling Han could do anything about it. I can heal you, Ling Han stated firmly. Liu Yutong's heart stirred, but she masked her reaction. If you can heal me, I will make you a court official, with boundless resources for cultivation. Ling Han grinned. There's only one way to heal the 3 yin vanishing veins, and that's through 3 yin mysterious arts. I know the art, and I can teach you, but there's one condition. You must become my follower. Liu Yutong's anger flared. She was the princess of the Liu clan, a martial arts genius who had already reached the 8th layer of element gathering tier at the age of 17. How dare a mere 2nd layer body refining martial artist demand she follow him? Where did he find his courage? Do not feel wronged, Ling Han added, his voice sweet with temptation. I can offer you a broader path in martial arts. I can take you to greater heights. Have you ever seen the 7 great vanishing lands, the 4 great dead valleys, or the 3 great bottomless oceans? His words were laced with promise. Liu Yutong's heart surged with eagerness. She lived for martial arts, and the temptation of greater power was irresistible. Ling Han stood with an unshaken composure as Liu Yutong, the esteemed genius of Huyang Academy, regarded him with a mixture of disbelief and consideration. Despite her internal turmoil, she had no choice but to remain resolute. Yet, the request he made, to become his follower, was simply too much. Her red lips bit down slightly as her eyes narrowed, a flicker of doubt in them. She spoke with ice-cold resolve. Change your condition. A smile tugged at the corner of Ling Han's lips, his gaze calm and unbothered by the force of her refusal. You stand at the pinnacle of the 8th layer of element gathering tier, do you not? His voice rang with a quiet certainty. Let me offer you 2 verbal chants as a token of my sincerity. 3 yin supporting element, plan of square path, 3 flowers assemble at the apex, shattering the approach of heaven. At first, Liu Yutong was unmoved. How could a mere boy, barely stepping beyond the 2nd layer of body refining tier, wield any chant of significance? It was nothing more than a display, a mere attempt to appear profound. But as the words left his mouth, an inexplicable surge of power surged through her body. Her origin energy stirred as though answering the call of these mysterious words. A strange sensation rose within her, something she had not expected. The door to the 9th level of element gathering tier seemed to stand wide open, ready to welcome her. The overwhelming sensation made her hesitate, her breath quickening as she grappled with the realization. She had expected to break through in a month's time. Yet, it seemed that now, if she chose to retreat into seclusion, she could break through immediately. This was no ordinary chant. It was more than she had ever imagined. Ling Han's voice, smooth as silk, reached her once more. Those 2 chants are from the 3 yin mysterious art. What do you think? He smiled, his confidence unshaken. Become my follower, and I shall teach you supreme godly skills. A wave of laughter broke from Ling Zhongquan and his companions. The sound was almost mocking in its fervor. A mere scrap of a person, This boy dared to claim the position of a genius from Huyang Academy, promising teachings of supreme godly skills. The words seemed absurd, the height of arrogance. How laughable it was that a mere scrap of trash would dare to speak in such grand terms. The maidservants, too, covered their mouths in silent amusement, their gazes filled with understanding. The look Lu Yutong commanded was noble, her status far beyond that of a mere cultivator of the element-gathering tier. To see her being courted by someone so beneath her was, in their eyes, truly laughable. Lu Yutong's eyes narrowed, her expression hardening. With a sudden swiftness, she appeared before Ling Han, her right hand shooting out and locking around his neck with the speed of lightning. Her grip was ironclad. "Recite the 3 yin mysterious art now, or I will kill you." Her voice was cold, devoid of mercy. Ling Han, however, was unsurprised. He had anticipated this reaction. His smile deepened, his voice low and unwavering. "Then kill me, but remember, you'll be accompanying me soon enough on the path to the netherworld. We can be companions when the time comes." Liu Yutong's grip tightened further, her fingers pressing into his throat with inhuman strength. Despite their smallness, they felt like the grip of an iron vice, and the pressure was enough to cut off Ling Han's breath. His vision blurred, his face flushed, and his limbs began to twitch uncontrollably as his body struggled for air. Yet, Ling Zhongquan and his companions merely watched, their eyes gleaming with anticipation. They hoped for nothing more than for Liu Yutong to end Ling Han's life here and now. "Are you going to speak?" Liu Yutong's voice was frigid, yet tinged with a hint of hesitation as she loosened her grip slightly. Ling Han, struggling for breath, forced a smile, shaking his head slowly. His resolve was unshakable. This was not a fight for him to back down from. His future, his survival, depended on finding a protector who could shield him from the many dangers surrounding him. Time was the one thing he needed most, and for that, he would not compromise. Her grip tightened once more, and Ling Han's body went limp, his limbs hanging slack as all strength left him. His face grew pale, and his body ceased to move. Liu Yutong sighed inwardly, feeling his stubbornness reverberate through her. With a sharp exhale, she withdrew her power and allowed her origin energy to rush into Ling Han's chest. His heart began to beat again, and soon he gasped for air, taking in deep, ragged breaths. 3 years, Liu Yutong declared, her tone firm. "No more than 3 years. Within this time, I will obey your commands. After that, I will be free." The silence that followed was deafening. Ling Zhongquan and his group looked at each other, mouths agape. Surely they had heard wrong. Had Liu Yutong really agreed to become a follower of Ling Han, a mere piece of trash? It seemed inconceivable, absurd even. They could not fathom it. Ling Han, recovering his breath, smiled faintly and raised his hand. "Deal," he said with quiet confidence. 3 years, enough time for him to rise beyond their reach. He would become stronger, and no longer would his life hang by a thread. With a gentle motion, Liu Yutong extended her hand, her fingers delicate as they joined his palm in a warrior's promise. A bond was forged, but one far deeper than a simple pact of followers and leaders. Ling Han felt something stir within him, a sudden surge of warmth. Despite his past life, despite the hardships, it was as if his soul had returned to its youth, burning with the unyielding vigor of 16 once more. It was a feeling he had not experienced for too long, the raw passion of living, of truly being alive. Before he could fully savor the moment, Ling Zhongquan's voice cut through the air, interrupting. "Miss Liu, forget this fool's nonsense. Let us return to discussing matters of true importance." Ling Han's smile faded as he turned to meet the chief butler's cold gaze. "This position in Huyang Academy, which my father risked his life to obtain, is not for you to snatch away. My father fights for his life in Purple Light Ground Valley, and you would try to take his hard-won position? Does that not shame you?" "Impudence," Ling Zhongquan shouted, his face twisted in anger. Liu Yutong, who had previously shown little interest, now focused her gaze on Ling Zhongquan. "Butler Ling, explain yourself. What is happening here?" The words hit him like a strike from a heavy sword. He could no longer ignore Liu Yutong's authority. She was the representative of Huyang Academy, and her power far surpassed his. He had no choice but to answer her. With a hurried bow, he replied, "It's like this. This boy is the son of Ling clan head, Ling Dongxing. His father, having gained this position, wished to reserve it for him. I merely thought of the greater good. This position should go to the most deserving. Ling Han snorted derisively. You would speak of the greater good, yet your actions betray you. This position was obtained by my father's sacrifice. Why does it concern you? It is not yours to take. You wish to give it to your grandson, so he might help you secure the position of clan head. Do not pretend it is about loyalty to the clan. The venom in Ling Han's words struck deep. Ling Zhongquan seethed with fury, his hands trembling as he fought to keep his composure. Ling Han's eyes glinted with resolve as he turned to Liu Yutong. I have no interest in enrolling at Huyang Academy. This agreement is null and void. Instead, I demand that Huyang Academy compensate me with medicinal potions. Agreed, Liu Yutong responded calmly. To cultivate someone of your caliber will require a vast amount of resources. No, Ling Zhongquan cried out, his voice cracking with rage. That position belongs to Mu Yun, and you cannot steal it. Ling Han's eyes glinted with disdain. Old dog, your hearing must be failing. This position belongs to my father, not you. He turned to Liu Yutong, his voice now commanding. This is my first command. Restrain this old dog for me. I would like to give him a few good slaps. Liu Yutong nodded without hesitation. As you wish. What was this? Liu Yutong, the proud genius, truly agreed to become Ling Han's follower? The notion seemed impossible, but here it was, playing out in front of them. The idea was inconceivable, yet it was reality. Liu Yutong, the brilliant and noble disciple, had taken the first step towards serving this boy who was once considered a worthless piece of trash. Ling Muyun could hardly believe his eyes. Elder sister disciple Liu, do not be swayed by his nonsense, he cried, his voice filled with disbelief. Liu Yutong stood tall, her expression unwavering as she faced Ling Zhongquan. Are you going to surrender, or will you wait for me to act? The battle spirit within her surged, and she was ready to face whatever came next.